You know what, people? I've just realised I've just introed the whole show with my mic off. So we're going to remove him. We'll start again. Good evening, people. It is the second Monday of the transfer window. All right, we haven't signed anyone today, unlike a week ago where we signed a big, sexy blue Viking robot bastard. But our name is still on everyone's tongues. Everyone wants all our players. I get it. 4 Premier Leagues in, is it 5 or 6? Can't remember. 6 in 10. Best team in the land and all the world. Definitely the best team in the Northwest. Definitely the best team in England. And on the way to becoming Net Spend FC winners. Yes, that's right, Liverpool. We're coming for you. That massive trophy, the biggest trophy that there is to win out there, Liverpool fans. We're coming for it. So for this show, and I'm just rehearsing what I did before when the mic was off, I need my co-host. He's a red, but he's cool. He understands the levels. He understands that they can't compete with us. We were the noisy neighbours. We've moved out. We moved to Wilmslow and left them. Right. It's my boy Cass. What are you saying, brother?
Hungry, my brother.
What, for trophies?
For everything. I am. The only thing that's on my mouth is not harder right now. It's a bit of pizza.
Pause.
I'm starving.
Pause. Massive pause. Massive pause. The only thing that's on your mouth. Anyway, right. And then I needed to get
pizza.
2 City fans. I needed to get 2 City fans on for this one because there is a lot to talk about. Could get emotional, to be fair. So I reached out to 2 friends of mine, both season
City
ticket
friends.
holders. Oh, City friends. First and foremost, Mason, man like Mason. What are you saying, brother? You good?
What's happening, boys? You all right?
It's mad you've got an England shirt on as well.
I know. I've got do you know what? I'm still a bit hurt, from England. So I thought I'll rep it today. I don't know why. Just it's one of them.
Yeah, I hear you. Oh, Cass, you can do the comments today as well if that's all right. While you eat your pizza. What pizza is that, by the way?
It's a Mexicana, bro. Spicy.
Unlike Bruno Fernandes. I hear you.
He's not spicy.
He's not spicy. Not spicy. He's less spicy than potato with tuna and mayonnaise. And first time on this show, I'm going to call him I'm a sneak freak, but then he can decide if I call him by his actual name. You saying, brother?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Yeah.
I'm going to end up calling you Imran. So
you can call me Imran. No, that's my name, isn't it? I am Sneak Freaks, just my Twitter account.
Yeah, and do you know what? Both of you I met for the first time in Madrid. So different games, but there it is. So housekeeping firstly, everyone in here, there's 25 of you so far. Make sure you smash that like button. The sooner we get to 30, the more it pushes us out. The sooner we get to 40, the more it pushes us out, etc., etc., etc. So, yeah. What is there positive to talk on firstly? Let me bear with
nothing, because
if you get through, the comments. Well, this isn't a United show, so you can hold your tongue on that one. Listen, the only way we can talk about United, actually, no, that was slander, so you can do that. You can do United slander on this show. You can't do anything positive about United, which should be quite easy for you, to be fair, because there's not much positive to talk on.
I'm not even going to talk on Man United. There's no point.
Good. I like that.
I hope Bernardo Silva leaves.
You're not allowed to say anything negative on City. Hold that thought. If you go through the comments real quick, just while I I want to get up.
John Moore, clearly a Liverpool fan, says best team in England, and you're talking about Liverpool. Obviously, Nick says Sterling's not going anywhere. Trust me. You started laughing, saying Hungary for trophies, obviously because I was probably munching some pizza, etc., etc. Obviously, Daniel's always tuning into the City ones. He said big up Daps, Cass, and Mason, and also big up Imran, who's here. So if you don't know his face, now you know his face. Got that fancy Hugo Boss cap on right there. Oris, I was on his channel earlier. Big up him. So he's here as well. Soups in the building.
Yes,
don't let any unjustified United slander run. Who's Soups? Of course. And then obviously big up Allman, another City fan. He says fancy a takeaway now. Go order yourself a pizza, my guy. Why not? It's 10:30. You probably got work tomorrow, but why not?
You know what? When Soup said no unjustified United slander, that means all slander's fine.
Yeah, pretty much. And then Ilyas said, big up, who's also a Liverpool fan, but not as shameless as Yusuf. I'm surprised Yusuf is not here right now, but he will be. Yeah, it will be here soon. But that's pretty much the comments done. And I'm gonna go get another slice of pizza if you lot don't mind.
No problem whatsoever. Hand it over to me, and I'm nearly where I need to be. But as you want to go and get pizza, I'm going to have to be where I need to
I'm
be.
still
Arno,
here.
thanks for that.
Thanks.
Sorry, I'm
That's all right.
Go and get some pizza. Go and get some pizza.
What?
Oh, that was quick.
Right next to me.
Loving this.
Right next to me.
So I'm usually more organised, but I had a really important show before this. I had a Love Island watch along. So
Do you know what? Does anyone actually watch Love Island here? No,
No, so
Mason.
I just have it on in the background, me. But do you know what? It's one of them Love Island. As many people say they don't watch it, but then it's everywhere.
yeah.
It's all over social media, absolutely everywhere. And then you get tied up in it in work. You get tied up in it everywhere.
Yeah, and then basically you have to watch it, otherwise you feel like the odd man out at work because everyone's
So-
talking about it.
You get
So long story short, Mason also watches Love Island. And then obviously Ravi saying Love Island is absolutely trash, which I definitely agree with. I stopped. I can't lie. I stopped after that Megan Button Hansen with all the square head mixed race boys in it. That one. Yeah. All of them lot. Obviously Cactus Squad, I know exactly who that is. Obviously big up you. Come from my Instagram. And Usman's in the building as well. One of our I think he's
He's in Liverpool. I think he's Liverpool.
no, he's one of our new mods as well. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll put him down as a mod now. And then Ravi's got a question though. That's probably for you, Mason. How do City replace Silva's quality if Bernardo was to actually leave?
Long
You know what?
short,
Let's start on Bernardo Silva. I think will we all agree is City right now? Yeah, that is the. As far as we're concerned, that's the one that we maybe think might unfortunately have some legs to it. Yeah, and it will hurt us the most.
I think the Bernardo Silva one will be. I know we spoke last time about if sort of Sterling left, what impact that'd have. I think if we lost Bernardo Silva, that'd be. I not on the same colour, but it affects us the most just because of what he can do for us. And
is it fair to say it's? I don't know if this is. Is it as big as? Is it as big in the opposite way as Haaland coming?
I know what you
Or is
mean.
that a
in
bit
aspect,
wild?
but it's not, yeah, I wouldn't. I think obviously getting Haaland over the line is something that we've been as City fans asking for a while to get a striker in.
Yeah.
I think losing someone like Bernardo Silva has affected us more than what we've experienced in the past losing players. So, you know, we spoke about Sane, we spoke about when we've lost Aguero, for example. Losing someone like Bernardo Silva would be ridiculous. Like, it'd be a massive chunk. And I think we could deal with people if we'd lost, like, you know, other midfielders maybe. But Bernardo Silva, I think that would hurt us the most.
I think because Imran, who replaces him? If he was to leave now, and before we go out and buy anyone, who in our squad steps up and does the Bernardo Silva role?
I think the only person that plays in that role is Gundogan, but I don't think he replaces him. No, I'm not saying he's a replacement.
Yeah, no, I think you're right, but that's the issue. It's the legs, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, with Bernardo Silva, you probably lose out three particular things. Firstly, is his legs, his stamina around the pitch, the ground he covers. If you look throughout the seasons, and the distance covered, I don't think there's a player in the City squad that's.
I don't think Grealish can do that job. Grealish can do that job. No chance.
No,
look, there's elements to Bernardo Silva as well, yeah, that naturally has come by playing alongside Fernandinho. That Bernardo Silva every year gets slightly better defensively, and that happens. I mean, that's the reason why Pep says kept Foden around the squad. It's the reason why he wants to keep McAtee around the squad, because when you're playing with certain players, you learn things. Like I don't think it ever got spoken before Silva left, David Silva left, that he was actually Foden's mentor until Foden in an interview after he left said, "I miss him. He was my mentor." So it's interesting that Pep actually does have that running at City where people are people's mentors. So there's things that I think Gundogan's legs, man, are
just going back to that part where I said he's covering distance. So that's one of the things, and I think that leads on to his defensive play, like you just mentioned. So defensively, I mean, you know what? The amount of tackles he gets in is something that doesn't get noticed by a lot of people, or doesn't get mentioned a lot. Yeah, that's another part that's quite key. Another thing is his technical play. I think he's the most technical player we have. I think if he had pace, I think he'd be at Messi's standard in terms of technical play and pace and the way he plays. Maybe not the finishing part, but everything else leading up to it. And
Maybe
I think his defensive game is better than Messi's. So other than the finishing, I think he'd make a better player than Messi. And then the final thing.
Whoa! Did you just
No.
That's getting clipped. It's getting clipped.
No.
Thank you.
No.
He just said. You just said the pace part will make him better player than Messi.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
You lot heard it here first.
It's fine. You can't clip that. You'd have to edit it.
Part of his game let me clarify.
Yeah.
Defensive part of his game, along with his carrying of the ball, I think without the finishing part, I think lets him down and wouldn't put him in the echelons with Messi. But what I'm saying is, as a midfield or as an attacking player, I think it would get him up there. But obviously, without the finishing, you can't really mention him alongside Messi.
I think that's fair. His finishing isn't poor. But I do get what you're saying.
No, but it's
Messi level.
Nowhere in Messi's level.
Messi. He's nowhere near Messi level. Yeah.
And then finally, I mean, tell me a player in the City side who's got as much passion as this guy as well, with heart and with his stamina and everything. I know you have got a few players. You've got Foden and a lot of the Portuguese players there.
Someone saying
when they play. But yeah, I have to say, man, passion along with all those.
Yeah, you're right.
He's going to be a big loss if he leaves, and I just think.
You think Foden couldn't do Bernardo Silva's role at all?
No,
I think they're quite similar. They're quite similar, but
so the thing is, that type of statement is like, what? When are you saying next season, or are you saying in 8 years' time?
I feel like Foden's a hard worker as well, as much as Foden.
But you know what? If I hear it next year, no.
See, my thing.
You're saying he needs to refine his game and intelligence a little bit more or something to become like it. The maturity of the game, like how Rooney went from that boisterous young whatever you want to call it, and then his head just went leveled, and then his game totally changed.
Years away from that, bro. Years away from that. Away. Go on, Mason.
The only thing I see, I know this isn't putting him in that because he doesn't. I don't want to say tight laces at the minute, but the Grealish thing that was mentioned before. That's what will happen. So Grealish will get dragged into the middle. If Bernardo Silva goes, don't get me wrong, I am not saying he's not on the caliber of Bernardo Silva, but if he did leave, if we did lose him this summer, you think about it. If we bring in, obviously we've got Haaland, bring in Alvarez, we've got Foden who wants to play further out on the wing. Where's Grealish going to play? There's only one place he's going to play is in the middle.
I think you're spot on with that because the other day I can't remember what stream I was on, but we were talking about all the players we've got, the options we've got wide left, the options we've got wide right, the fact that we now probably won't be playing with a false nine that much anymore, which takes instantly one position out. And it was like, so we both kind of think that potentially one day Foden or Grealish will both drop deep. But it's like, but at the moment, who's going to come out for them to be able to drop deep? And it's like, well, there's the answer. That's who's going to drop out. And that creates... the other option is if we get Kalvin Phillips, would we switch to playing Phillips and Rodri? And I don't think we would. I can't see that.
If Phillips gets over the line, I think most Blues know now as well. He knows what he's going to do. He's going to come sit on the bench, which that might be the issue why he might not want to come. He's going to come sit on the bench. He'll play a couple of cup games, and who knows? Don't get me wrong. If Rodri got injured, then it'd be a cracking backup to have. You know, we've lost Fernandinho. It'll be a good little backup. But Phillips, surely the deal with Phillips surely is going to be a case of he's going to be a rotation player. He's going to come in if Rodri doesn't play. The same thing. Grealish. Don't get me wrong. He didn't have the best season. I don't think he had the worst season that people act like he did. But next year, if this comes on with the whole Julian Alvarez thing, wanting to play constantly, and we want to keep him, there's obviously some sort of plan there. Why he's going to want to come and not be loaned out? There must be something behind that.
Oh, that was something Fabrizio tweeted today. Apparently 5 top clubs, including Premier League clubs, have come in for him, and they're all being told the same. And am I right? He scored 2 and got 2 assists yesterday. Is that right?
I think he's scored 1.
2 goals and 2 assists. That guy is a flipping
I can't
animal.
wait. I can't wait. So, and that is now probably getting to a point where, yeah, there will be players in City's team that are seeing this and thinking, do you know what? It's not just Haaland that we have to. If we play in a wide position, we now have to realise that.
Not bad take.
We also are potentially for kind of not going to get as much game time. But back to Bernardo Silva, look. So let me just share this quick. Have you guys seen what Pep said today?
Yeah.
With the Barcelona thing.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not comfortable about this situation
It's not
at
doing
all.
that well, is it? Jesus. That's not working.
No, it's not. If we go back to the noise last night, and a lot of people saying, "Oh, it looks like he's staying. It looks like Bernardo's staying," and I think that was based on what Pep said. With Laporte, was it Laporte there from Barcelona, and yeah, he said, "I don't think he's leaving. I think he's staying." But I think it didn't seem like he was sure himself. He was just saying, "Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's staying." But then
who said that? Sorry, the bar. Who said that?
Pep said so.
Well, what Pep said is, as of today, I think Bernardo will continue at City next season. But as I always said, I don't like to keep players that are unhappy. And it's so, I think every time Pep says things like this, it's interesting, right? Because it just shows, and I do rate this, it does show how Pep's role is to manage the team. And it's almost like, I'm not even getting involved in this, yeah? You lot can deal with this and let me know when the preseason starts what the squad is and what negotiations are going on. Otherwise, I'm not involved. But to me, that does seem worrying. Bernardo, I think, is going to be professional. He's not going to come out and do a Lukaku or anything like that and speak about where he wants to be. I think Pep a week ago said to Barcelona, good luck. And I think we're all very clear. If Barcelona want him, it's not going to be cheap. It's not going to be cheap.
No,
it's going to be.
You're going to be demanding at least 75 million for this guy because the season he didn't have. I don't give a shit what people say. Yeah, this is just me talking as a neutral, just or neutral,
neutral if you want. But
I'm quite tired. But as a neutral fan watching Bernardo Silva, he had a great first half of the season, and the second season kind of fell off. But you're going to have that in a team like City where the demands are so high. You're going to fall off at some point. Who could you say at the City squad had a 100% serious season all the way through?
You can't say it across the whole league, really. To be
exactly. Everyone's had their up and down times.
Who did you say? Rodri.
Yeah, you know what? Potentially, yeah. Actually, you could say Rodri, isn't it?
But it's the things with. Imran touched on it. It's what Bernardo Silva brings. I always say he's a sexy Kante because he does do, like when we brought him in, he was playing on the wing, right? And we saw what he did to Virgil last season. Yeah, his technical ability on the ball is insane. His passing's insane. Yeah. His ball retention's insane. But also, he's the engine. The amount of times he sets like records for kilometers running games and whatever else. Look. The thing is with Barcelona, here's the good thing. What does it say?
He said we saw it last season. Bernardo wanted to leave. No one had the money to get him, so he stayed and gave everything for the fans. The shirt. He is happy at sea. But the big thing is, what if Man United do pay up the 70 million in total that Barcelona want roughly?
But this is the whole thing. But then there's the other thing. Who knows that? Like, so I believe Mendes had a meeting yesterday with Barcelona, right? And I'm sure that there would have been a lot of things spoke on. And you don't know that De Jong could have been thrown in the mix and said, well, how about if City really don't want to get rid of him and they want a replacement? How about we put someone in there? How much does Xavi want Bernardo Silva? Because he's proven, right? And he's prime age to come in around a load of younger players. So how much you want him? Because this thing, we're playing hardball with Arsenal at the moment over Jesus, right? And however much we love Jesus, we don't want to keep Jesus as much as we want to keep Bernardo Silva. We don't need to sell Bernardo Silva. So it's like, Barcelona, you need to go and do a lot of things before this conversation even starts. Yeah. Because you ain't got no money. And I'm sorry, City's fans will not accept us bending over backwards for Barcelona on this one. We did it with Torres. We did it with Eric Garcia. This one, you know what? You can even say we're doing it for that pre-season friendly a little bit, right? You could say slightly. we cannot do this over Bernardo Silva because fans will get pissed off. Like, we can't. Man.
I think what it is with Bernardo Silva, where this is, like you said before, got legs from, is last season there was rumours he wanted to sort of leave. There seems to be a thing with Bernardo Silva. It's a homesick thing. You know, it's a footballer. We have in our friend group, we always say footballers that live in the city, it never works. As in, by I mean, living in a city centre, he's got constant, the constant stress of being in a city. I know it sounds like such a daft thing, but being homesick isn't going to help the situation. He lives in a busy city centre. He may be unhappy at the club. It's now, last season it come out, this season it's come out. There's definitely something there where it does make me think, this could be something. And then there's a saying I always say, I've said it to you, Daps, when Barca and Madrid come knocking, it's very, very hard to turn down, regardless of where they are in the league, regardless of how they played over the season previous. When them two clubs come knocking at the door, you don't see many players reject it. It was the same with Rudiger. He'd won everything with Chelsea. Real Madrid come knocking, and he was gone like that.
Well, and that's a German. This is like to Portuguese and Spanish as well. And there's the added thing that now Xavi is kind of saying, and we're talking Xavi, right? This is one of the most respected midfielders, and he's coming out and saying, I really like over, and he's got Gavi there. He's got De Jong there at the moment. Barcelona have midfielders, and he's coming out and saying, no, I want Bernardo Silva. Yeah. Look, Bernardo Silva, we all know his mentality is insane, right? He's won 4 Premier Leagues with us. I don't know. I think that Daniel's spot on. If they don't get it over the line, and it's not going to be easy for them to get it over the line. It's not we're going to go, give us 25 mil and give us another 60 over 5 years. That won't happen, right? Because we don't need to sell him. And ultimately, if we do sell him, we cause ourselves issues. So it's going to take something. And if we don't, I have no doubt he'll stay and put a shift in next year. 100%. He'll stay and want to win the Champions League next year. He will. But it's just... we're having such a good transfer window. Don't do this to us, please.
City have to do everything. Pep has to do everything to keep him here. 70 million, 100 million isn't worth selling him, because we're not going to replace him. We will not be able to replace him this season. And if we go back to last season, he wasn't unhappy because he wasn't getting time. He wasn't getting minutes that he wanted. He's played regularly this season. The problem seems to be the weather more than anything else in Manchester, because he's had a few interviews. He's had an interview with his girlfriend in Manchester, and he was walking the streets, and there was this interview, and he said he loved playing for the club. He loved the fans. He loves living in Manchester. He actually said he loves living in Manchester city centre. Yeah. And he said the one down thing is the climate, the weather in Manchester. Now is that the issue? Now obviously we're hearing that he wants a bit of a change, and I can understand. Barcelona's come in. Maybe he does. He's been here 4 seasons now.
Girlfriend issue. It sounds like to me, man.
What's that?
Sounds like a girlfriend issue to me.
Possibly.
Sounds like, I'm sorry, that's really wrong of me to say, but you know what, one of them ones where, and it's being done a bit more respectfully than sometimes it's done elsewhere, because Bernardo Silva seems like the type that he'd never say that, but he seems happy. He generally doesn't seem unhappy. And I'll be honest, if I go back to that trophy parade, and when Grealish said something about Bernardo Silva, straight away I was like, no, talk on anyone fucking else. Don't say anything about Bernardo Silva, We want him to know how loved he is. And I know it was all a joke, but when I first heard it, I thought, I don't want to see Bernardo Silva getting pissed off. He's the one player, because let's be honest, right now, the whole Premier League, and I can confidently say this, the whole Premier League is in fear, right? Liverpool fans, if you're in here, because I know we do have a few, you might want to jump up and say, oh, no, we've got Núñez now, or this. I don't believe you, and you don't believe yourself, right? Every Premier League club right now, after what we did last season without strikers, and the way we're strengthening, people can talk on Haaland, but I know that people are starting to fear Alvarez as well, I know the whole league is fearing us next season. The way that we're getting, if Cucurella comes, if Phillips comes, Alvarez, Haaland, the fact that the players that are being linked away aren't ones that are going to make too much of a difference, and even to draw the ones that are is going to take a lot. It feels like next season is a season we can do big things. I'm not going to say we're going to go and win the Champions League. I'm not stupid like that. But it does feel like a season that on a stream yesterday, I was asked about something. And I said, listen, you've seen me, guys, in the summer usually. I'm not that confident because I always go into the season a little bit nervous. I'm going into the season with my chest so high. Like, I feel we can do massive, massive, massive things next season. And I feel like take Bernardo out of that. And it's like, right, there's a step back. It's
a knock-on effect.
I say 2 steps back.
Yeah, it's a massive knock-on effect because you think with Bernardo Silva, if we lose him this year, you've got to think I'm 99% sure Gundogan's going next year if he doesn't leave this year. So then there's 2 midfielders gone.
Well, you've just given me a positive, mate. You've just given me a positive.
But even then, you think about
we go and get Jude Bellingham.
See that? I think we'll get priced out of that deal, and I'm not saying that because we're City and we can go and throw money at anyone.
No, I hear you.
They're doing the exact same with countless other players. The pricing them out of deals, it's the same. I know it sounds
it's going to be insane. English
deal,
tax.
Yeah, it's just the people that are pricing other players out of deals, and that'll be the same with Bellingham. He'll probably. We're pretty far on that. He'll end up at Liverpool or something, but
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't see it. Liverpool fans are making us believe that. Liverpool fans are pushing this, but let me tell you, Liverpool fans were pushing Mbappe a few years ago because of the Liverpool fans will push all sorts. For me, of all the clubs, I'll be 100. I think Jude Bellingham has more chance of going to United or Chelsea than he does Liverpool.
I agree as well.
That's me taking City out of it. I would personally say that United could see Jude Bellingham as someone they could build their next 10 years round. Chelsea the same, because Chelsea need a massive, massive overhaul. They could see someone. For me, I don't see Jude Bellingham as a Liverpool player. I'm sorry, I really don't see it. And I do think if Pep signs, and let's remember, Haaland and Jude are friends. I think that could be a pull as well. I want Jude Bellingham. I think Jude Bellingham under Pep would be amazing. But look, Bernardo Silva.
One thing there, I don't think Jude Bellingham replaces Bernardo.
No,
he'll bring everything except the technical play that Bernardo has. So again,
the thing is with Jude, though, he could be sculpted.
Sorry, go on. What was that?
No, I was just saying Bellingham could be sculpted though. That'll be the big pull with Bellingham. It'd be wherever he goes with his age, he could become he could become the next generational talent depending who he goes under. That's not me saying it coming just under Guardiola. He could do that at United. He could do it at Chelsea. He could do it at Liverpool. I think
he's someone you'd build a team round, innit? You would build a team round the guy.
100%. He looks unreal playing for England. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't want to do what other people do and cling on to things. I didn't cling on to the Haaland links and it worked. So I'm not going to cling on to the fact that I actually think Jude Bellingham would see Pep and think, yeah, I could grow under Pep. I'm not going to cling on to the fact that I think Haaland and Jude Bellingham have got that relationship. I'm not going to cling on to the fact I'm not going to cling on to the final one that Gundogan might, only saying might, next season think, you know what, little swap deal. Gundogan go back to Dortmund to end his career. Bellingham come this way. It's a bit of a like for like. So Dortmund still. But anyway.
Can I announce something quick?
Yeah, go on. As long as it's not.
I need to announce.
Your other half's pregnant or anything.
No, I don't have another half. Thank you very much, and that will continue that way for as long as Never a Foul needs more likes. We need to hit this on 80 likes. Yesterday, we're targeting 80 likes. We're on about 56 likes. So if you haven't smashed that like, keep liking it. We just need more likes, isn't it? People. Nearly 50 guys in there, by the way, all talking on City. To be fair, we were talking to Chelsea earlier. And it was smaller numbers. Now we're City. So who's the bigger club now? Not Chelsea.
So let's wrap up the Bernardo Silva thing. I think it's one we're all going to watch closely. I don't want him to go, man. I know everyone at City don't want him to go. But I do think we all kind of fear it. We do fear it because it's never gone away, has it? It's never gone away.
Gundogan wants an MLS move.
It's a coaching thing.
I feel like Gundogan doesn't get enough respect. We always talk about Gundogan in sections. I've never been on a stream as much as with Man City. I've been doing it for you for about a week now, and Daps just on a few different City fan things. Gundogan, as some people pronounce it, but I know it's Gundogan. In sections is always his appreciation spots and how much you can replace him. But I've never actually had or even heard a whole sector on Gundogan and how much what he brings to the team more than other players like De Bruyne, like we just did now about Silva. I just feel like he's just been such an underrated player, especially what he's been through with injuries and everything.
Yeah, I think the bounce back on injuries is massive. No, that can't be that. People need to remember that. And people need to remember that when Pep Guardiola, I think he was. There's debates. Some might say Sterling was Pep's first signing before he came. Some might say John Stones was kind of happening. Gundogan was the one that he was like nailed on and then got another injury. And the board asked Pep, what do we do? And Pep was like, well, you press on. What are you talking about? Oh, he's going to be out for you press on. And the fact that Liverpool fans in here will know that Klopp adores Gundogan. For me, last season, our best team was when we would be playing Gundogan, Rodri, Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne as the false nine. And I feel like when we played that, we had complete domination in midfield, like complete. You'll know, Cass, because we played you like it. And it was just perfection because the ball, good luck getting the ball back with them four in midfield. But the other thing is we have to speak on with Gundogan is actually, if we look at the last two seasons, the last two Premier League wins, would either of them have happened without Gundogan?
Mate, there was games in the Champions League when things wouldn't have happened without Gundogan. We've had this discussion before. We had it in Madrid about how underrated he is and what he doesn't get. And the reason for that, following what Cass said then, it probably is because he plays in the midfield with De Bruyne, and that's just as simple as it is. And I know that's, like you said, it's always not so good to keep it around one player, but with Gundogan, it's just.
Go on, finish.
Yeah, with what it was with Gundogan, it's kind of, he is that player. He's, you never see him in the press, you never see him in the news, you never see him kicking off in a game. So to a lot of City fans, he's loved. He is, especially after what happened at the end of the league. But
rightly so. That was good though that he got that moment.
Yeah, of
he
course
deserved
it.
And the other thing, do you know what? The only time you see him pop up in the news is actually, I've noticed, is he does a lot of charity work, to be fair.
Oh, yeah.
So when he does pop up, he's doing good stuff. But if you go back to last season, remember when De Bruyne got injured and Gundogan just came in, played the false nine, and the amount of goals he got? That was last season. Then this season, it's a different role. Like in Madrid, Imran, against Real Madrid, when he came on, how much did the game change? It was just...
And I think to add to that, if you look at goals scored in some of the big games that he scored in over the season, not just the last game of the season, the goals he's popped up against United, the goals he's popped up against Barcelona, to the brace against Barcelona a few seasons ago with Messi, Suarez, and Neymar in the side. He's turned up in all those games, but I think one of the main things he's not got credit for. And that was for that. Is it 17-18 season when Fernandinho got injured and he played the DM role for the last third of the season, and we were on that mad run, 18 games in a row, something, whatever it was. That led us to the league title, 1 point, against Liverpool. Brilliant.
Yeah, that's very true.
That was Gundogan all the way through. And you know what? Last season when we lost in 2 seasons ago, when we lost in the Champions League final, and people were saying, "Oh, Gundogan, he should not play that role." He played it for a good third of a season that year, and I think Pep was right to play him in that position.
That was never my issue. I always said in that game, for me, because everyone tried to focus around that role. For me, the biggest issue that day was that we played Raheem Sterling wide left, and he'd been looking awful for weeks and weeks and weeks. That was the one that whenever people say about Gundogan over Fernandinho, I'm like, no. That's very basic. That's very obvious, because everyone's saying it. That makes sense because we've seen Gundogan playing it. Sterling's been piss poor on the left, and he went and played him. And Reece James pocketed Sterling the whole game. Foden came on and actually got at Reece James a little bit. So I think you're spot on. And that's the thing. What was it Pep said this season? And this kind of says how Gundogan's game is just perfect. We've just spoke about him defensively, but I think Pep said he knows how to hit the box at the perfect time. He's that guy, Lampard vibes, basically, that he knows when to hit the box at the perfect time. We saw it. And I think just imagine with Fernandinho going, imagine if Gundogan had said he isn't going to stay for a final year, and then these rumours started coming out about Bernardo Silva.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying before. It starts to look a bit scary. And it does. Like like I said, I think that's where the Phillips rumours might be coming from, though. That's what kind of worries me about Bernardo Silva still, is because he knows he's not going to play a lot of games, whereas for Leeds now he is. He's going to play virtually every game if he stays fit. My worry is that there is legs to this Bernardo Silva thing, and it's kind of starting to bolster, because we never know. Gundogan, an injury could be out for a season.
Well, so about a month before the end of the season, hold tight Sam, I think he got it from City Extra, to be fair, but I think there was some sort of tweet that went round saying that Gundogan keeps having reoccurring back issues. Yeah. And that's why his game time's dropping. So, look, there is. I have no doubt that Gundogan's game time will drop. So yeah, that's that role. Look, we hope Bernardo Silva stays. I also hope Gundogan stays. I think Gundogan will. I think Gundogan for me fits the mold of what City do with let the guys. It's interesting with whether you put him in the same bracket as the company, Aguero, Silva, Yaya.
I don't see why not.
Agreed, bro. He's maybe
he's just
not
played
quite
he's just played a different role.
Bro, he's like Imran just said. He's scored some very important goals. We were speaking. He's done a lot. There's certain players that maybe don't get enough credit for City, and he's definitely one of them. And it's that type of role. But moving on, there's other people.
We're not doing our board any injustice here. Look, we're worried. Don't you think they'd be worried if all these players were?
Yeah, you're spot on. To be fair, Imran, you're spot on. You know my view on our board, and you are spot on. This is the thing. Whenever we start, and I've been getting a few DMs off of City fans, proper like, and I'm like, calm down. It's the summer, yeah. This is what the media do, right? There's no way we are selling the list of players that Fabrizio Romano has listed, right? So I'll move on to the next one I want to talk on, and this is relevant to it. Is Raheem Sterling? Have you got a slide for that, Cass? By the way, actually, before we move into that,
I actually
53 in here. If your thumb button, whichever way it is, isn't lit up, hit it, please. Really appreciate it. So Raheem Sterling. Yesterday,
I've got wait, let me get rid of this. Sorry, my bad. I'm gonna get one up. Just give me 2 seconds.
No, it's cool. I'll start.
I've just literally just for you guys. Like I thought I'd make a little something quick on the man you just kind of just talking about. So he will be up in a sec.
Okay.
Nothing there. Just we'll be there.
Jesus. Right. So Raheem Sterling. He's been linked yesterday. Oh, thanks. I want a Raheem Sterling one, but thank you.
I'm going to get you a Raheem Sterling one.
Year left.
It's just loaded up, by the way.
I like the suggested fee priceless. I don't know.
No one's linked with him, so there's no price for him.
With a year left, it would be interesting what people would do, what patheticness people would offer. And I think with Gundogan, the thing with Gundogan over maybe a Raheem or a Gabriel Jesus is because of his age and his injury records, people would think they could come in and offer some stupid money for Gundogan. And that's why we're not seeing it. Because someone would come in and go, 12 million. And it's like, City's board would be like, honestly, we'll keep him, mate, because he's worth more than 12 million. Did you not see the last day of the season? That day alone probably earned us more than 12 million. So we're all right, cheers. But
you want to go on to
Sterling? With Sterling. So look, we all know he's down to last year of his contract. We all know he hasn't signed a new one yet. For me, I think that he wants to run down his contract. I think that he don't need to move to secure his place for England. He's got that already. If he goes and if he runs down his contract, there's two things that are good about that. Firstly, he'll get more money. Secondly, he gets a season alongside Haaland, which we all know Sterling has thrived when he's been alongside a striker. So Sterling's last two seasons without Aguero, his numbers have not been the same. He thrives off of space left where defenses focus on other players. He finds the space and gets the goals. So, which then on the knock-on effect is when if he was to leave next summer and he gets his numbers up this season, the wage he's going to demand is going to be even higher. So now we did a show yesterday with Chelsea, with a Chelsea fan, I believe. And there was talk on, firstly, Chelsea have come in and offered, I heard 20, I heard 35, doesn't really matter.
But then
it's laughable.
Then there was 50.
Well, it's laughable because we're playing hardball over Gabriel Jesus. Yeah. So if you think you can come and offer less for Raheem Sterling, and this is no slander on Gabriel Jesus, but we all know Raheem Sterling's numbers, yeah? And we also all know that Raheem Sterling's commercial value is also very high in this country. To come in and offer what you've offered, yeah? What was that about? I'm going to be surprised.
Oh, it's just going to mean your boy can't basically start. He's a Chelsea fan. Isn't he?
So here's the thing, what I'm leading on to. You've got to get over the hurdle of offering City what we want, right? And that hurdle is probably higher than your board think. And let's be clear, Chelsea fans, I'm not slandering you, and I'm not saying your board that's coming in is going to pick up the pieces where Roman dropped them and carry on the same. Because I don't know, and that would be stupid of me to say that. But what I am going to say is they're American, right? And we've seen from American owners, they don't move the same as Roman, right? So to think they're going to come in and say, you want that, cool, there's that. We don't know that. But say they do move like that and they get over that hurdle. That's not the hurdle. The hurdle is Raheem Sterling is not unhappy. Raheem Sterling is winning leagues every season. Raheem Sterling is nailed on for England. Raheem Sterling is, correct me if I'm wrong, on about 300 grand a week.
I'll get the correct figures up.
About that.
If not a bit more.
So Raheem Sterling, right, when this is the biggest contract of his life, is not leaving the Premier League champions to go to a rebuild and be paid less money, right? So forget my club. I'm not talking about Man City. I'm talking about Raheem Sterling, who I believe will run down his contract to get the maximum amount of money himself, yeah? Forget the City hurdle of giving us what we want. You think your board is going to go in there and pay Raheem, what, $350 a week?
Thing is, with Sterling, the number, I think that number, the 35 million, that's got to have something to do with linked with the whole Mane situation, going to Bayern for sort of similar money. Because
English tax.
Why on earth would we accept 35 million? I just don't understand that. If we're talking about going out there and buying some left wing back called Cucurella who's had half a good season, you already know my stance on that, Daps. But we're going to go and spend there asking for 60 million for him. Why are we going to go and let arguably one of the best English wingers ever go for 35 million? I just don't. I don't get it.
It's a disrespect. It's a total disrespect. Yeah. I think on actual, not just City as a total. As this is just talking from a neutral point of view, but on Sterling,
it's a first bid.
If I was Sterling,
it's a first bid. If I
was Sterling, though, if you Sterling, if he was in his shoes, I'd be like, is that all I'm worth? Is 35 million? Is that what all my time at City is worth? Even if there's one season left on his contract, if that is the case.
Look, bro, this is the thing that we're seeing this transfer window, yeah? That
probably testing the waters.
It probably is. And with like the 1 year on their contract thing, we're seeing this transfer window that because of the state of the amount of the state of the quality of forwards that are on the market, this 1 year on transfer window doesn't mean as much because there's not as much out there. So people are expecting more. Imran, what's your thoughts on it?
Mate, all right. Firstly, Raheem Sterling, I can't say a bad word about the guy because of what he's done for us. You know,
facts.
I think arguably he's scored the most goals in the Pep Guardiola era.
Yeah.
The amount of assists he's created, the most penalties won in the Premier League era, right? So you know what, he's done his bit for City.
100%.
And to be honest, I was one of them people who did say maybe it was time for him to move on, and maybe we could get someone fresh in, but I've sort of U-turned on that. And my reasoning for it is, if you look at his peak seasons for City, it was when we had a number 9 playing ahead. So whilst Aguero was there, that's the guy people focused on. And that's where Sterling found his gaps, got to the back of the post, got into those spaces and got those goals. And he scored a lot of them. So, and then they dropped off. And they dropped off when we started playing number 9, when Aguero left, because a lot of the opposition saw Raheem as our main goal scoring threat. So picking him out, he's probably not the best when it comes to him being the main man, and especially someone who you rely on to score majority of your goals. Now, fast forward to next season, we've got Haaland. Everyone's going to be concentrating on this guy.
Yep.
ensuring he doesn't score. Who pops in the box? Who gets in and scores those goals? Who gets us those assists? I think it's going to be Raheem Sterling. So yeah, I think that's my justification for why I think Raheem Sterling should stay. And I don't think he should be anywhere else. His chances of winning stuff is still higher than being at any other club next season.
And this is a thing that I think, like, I actually compare it to Mane and Salah, and that I don't think Mane and Salah, either of them, were unhappy at Liverpool, right? But when you get to a certain age, and this is the same with any walk of life, you can be happy in your job, but if this is the last contract you're signing, you'll be like, but before I sign it, I want to see what's out there. I want to see what other offers I can get. Like, and if anyone thinks, apparently people were saying, oh, he'll take a wage cut. Let me tell you now, Raheem Sterling is not taking a wage cut, to go and be part of a rebuild, because it's not like he's going. The only ones that you could possibly maybe see having legs is if it was a Real Madrid or a Barcelona, where it's going to a different country, winning new trophies, and maybe, or a Bayern or someone that you think, do you know what, maybe he thinks there might be more of a chance. He's not gonna go for less money. It is that simple. It's who you.
There's a big difference there. There's a big difference there, Daps. Look, if you're talking about Mane and Salah, Mane was, I think, 9th or 8th highest paid player in Liverpool, below Oxlade, and there were so many players. I mean, that don't deserve to be ahead of him. And then Salah, who's not even in the top 8 or top 7 in the Premier League's highest paid players. You understand their justification why
100% of what they've done. They went to Liverpool and transformed them. Yeah, and you're not paying as well.
One of the top earning players at City.
Yeah,
those little margins, they're just tiny margins. What he may be fighting for, is it really worth leaving City and and giving up on the chance of winning those trophies here for that tiny 20 grand more?
100%. But also you have to be. I'll say it again. Footballers and their agents, know that when their contract runs out, all of a sudden that fee goes to them, right? Their wages go up. And then you get the chance to play alongside Haaland for one season. And let's be clear, we all know Pep trusts Raheem, It's not like, even though Raheem didn't play as much last season, he's not there thinking, oh, Pep don't trust me no more. He knows Pep loves him. He knows Pep trusts him, That's why, even through his worst form, Pep is still playing him. The other thing is, I still believe, that Arteta and Raheem had a very, very, we'll look at that definitely in a minute. I like the look of that already. Pep and Raheem Pep and Arteta and Raheem had a very good relationship, Raheem is from Northwest London. Northwest London, I've been saying this for a long time. Northwest London is an Arsenal area, right? If he goes to Arsenal next season, I know for a fact he will sell big shirt numbers, massive shirt numbers. Huge shirt numbers, right? I think already he might even be having those conversations that, like, you know what, if I wait a year. So all I'm saying is, and I'm not downplaying Chelsea as a football club, let me be clear. I'm just saying, if you think you can go in and offer some media amount to City and then some media amount to Sterling, and just because he's not our number one anymore, he's going to come, totally not. Secondly, another reason why he suits City is he can play on the left and the right. Not all of our wide players can play on the left and the right. He can. With him and Alvarez, you could switch them round throughout the game, and they can both do it. Like so.
There's my only issue with the Sterling thing. And don't get me wrong, like Imran said, someone of Sterling's caliber, what he's done for City has been unbelievable. He's been probably one of our most influential players under Guardiola, and obviously the stats follow it up.
Yeah.
But my only issue is, with it being his last year, let's be honest, he ain't going to sign a new contract. We all know that for 100%. So we've got him for one more year if he stays. Then we start putting into the hat, like you said, with Alvarez, he's going to come, he's going to play on the wing. What we've seen him doing, I know it's a different league, but what we see him doing at the minute is ridiculous. Then you've got people like Mahrez, who there was rumours flying around to say he wanted to sign a new contract and stay. If that's the case, and Mahrez wants to sign a new contract and stay, he's going to want to play constantly. So then, where does the sort of margin meet of, are we going to Are we going to say to Alvarez, you'll play a couple of games, Sterling will play a couple of games? Or is it, we get a bit of money for Sterling now while we can? And I know that's not sort
Yeah, I
of
think
top
that's
agenda,
valid.
but
I do think that's valid because we
get
know
a bit of money while we can, and then play Alvarez. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it could be a massive risk, but then we've got backups in. We've got Foden that can play there. We potentially got Cole Palmer who wants to play out on the wing.
That's true. And I've heard Cole Palmer is going to get more game time next season. He's another one that hasn't been mentioned. The one thing I would say is on one or two of the plays, Mahrez in particular, I think, actually, let's just look at this. Then we'll move on to Mahrez. By the way, there's still nearly 60 of you in here. Make sure you smash that like if it isn't.
Smash the like. Come on, it's nearly on 80. We're nearly on 80 now. So we're 71. Every stream. Why 80? Why can we not get 90? Come on, man.
Why not? So looking at this, I love it because I can see, but I don't wear my glasses on streams. All I can see is Raheem Sterling, Sadio Mane. I can see a lot of green to the left and a lot of red to the right. So it's undeniable with Raheem, though. Look, I always say this, and we've all been at games, right? And Wolves was a great example where Raheem Sterling can frustrate the hell out of you. Yeah. But I always use this comparison that I once had a friend. Do you know what I'm going to name him? A friend called Slim, right? And he was one of my ushers at my wedding, in fact. And we've all known him 15, 20 years. He's always been, he moves between circles, whatever, fair weather friend and whatever. But he's contagious. You're around him, you like him, right? We've known him 15, 20 years. He's been the same the whole time, right? So after knowing him and accepting him for that long, why all of a sudden should I be able to start calling out one of his traits that he's had for 20 years, right? That's mental. Same with Raheem. Raheem has been the same player from the day he arrived at us. You put him one-on-one with the keeper. He won't even know himself if he's going to shoot, pass, or take it round the keeper. And what comes out is mental. It's like a take round pass shot and it ends up all over the place. However, at the same time, we can also say, without Raheem Sterling's contribution, there's Premier League trophies that we would not have won. It's that simple. Like that is what his contribution is. And we don't know who he supports, but he's a professional. He listens to the manager, he grows, he adapts. And he does adapt. He's had to adapt. Under Pellegrini, he was playing a style of football that he had no idea how to play. And he's listened to Pep, he's changed. He gets back. One of the things over him and Mahrez, Raheem gets back and puts a massive shift in at all times. Now, moving on to Mahrez quickly. We can drop this one now, Cass. Thank you. We have to remember Mahrez's other half is a Manc, right?
Yeah.
And he's recently got married, right? And I believe they might even have a kid on the way, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. At his age, playing for the Premier League champions, playing in the Champions League, and let's remember, we got to the semi-final last year, the final the year before, quarter-final the year before that. He's playing at the top level of football he can possibly play for. He's continually going to get picked for his country. He's on a good wage, and his other half is pregnant, and her family live in Manchester. For me, if it wasn't for everything I've just said, especially the family side, I could see Mahrez pushing for a move. However, last season of your contract, you're about to have a little one. Anyone that's had a little one, you need your family around you. Trust me. Yeah. Right. For me, it's a no-brainer. He would want to stay at very least and see out this year. I think maybe he might also think, do you know what, with the connects in the club and where the club's going, I'm cool here. The style of football he plays, he could play a few more years because he's not a pace merchant. He's a technical player that can cut in. So
he's also slept
one,
on a lot, Mahrez.
Is there anyone that's actually interested in him at all?
There would be if it was put out there, definitely. But it's a fair point. At his age, it's not like I've seen massive news around him, to be fair.
I still think he'd be snapped up by quite a few people, Mahrez. Don't get me wrong, he's not, like, I'm not talking, maybe not United or Chelsea might not come and think but
the Coppish boys, every time I tune into Coppish, them man are talking about they'd take him at Liverpool. So, I mean...
He's a baller. He is a baller. He's got...
PSG,
I'll say this.
PSG is a great shout, to be fair.
That was my other one with PSG. But I think what people are taking for is he's got the best first touch in football. And I'll argue that till the day I die because it's unbelievable. But I think they would, overseas, like you said, it's probably going to conflict him now with a kid on the way and his family being from Manchester. But I could definitely see, maybe... You never know, maybe 2 years, he might go PSG for a year. you never know. I don't think if he signs a contract, it'll be a long one because of his age. But
I don't think City won't tie anyone. It'll be little 1 or 2 year extensions, won't it? We're not going to go out and Right, so that's that one. Who else do we need to touch on quickly? Jesus, I think are we all resigned to the fact Jesus is going Arsenal now? I know I've been watching a few other channels today, and a lot are still trying to have the debate that Tottenham might. For me,
there was something flying around.
I'm not hearing Tottenham. If Jesus leaves City, it's because he wants first team football. He's not going to go and battle it out at Tottenham. Look, Pep would probably tell him, dude, stay put. If you're going to go Tottenham, just stay put, because
they'll probably end up with Richarlison or something then.
Yeah, well, that's a bad one for me. I wouldn't want him.
Wow, Richarlison.
Yeah, I'm not floating that at all.
That's rumour mill, apparently. That's who they.
Yeah, I've seen that one. You sent me it earlier, Cass, but I'm not. I'm Richarlison.
I think I've got it here. Give me a sec. I'll remove this quickly from the screen and see if I've got one.
Richarlison for me is just. I get this massive sense, and look, sometimes I'm wrong with my sixth sense, but I've got the sense that if he goes to a club that he's not starting every single game, he'll cause issues. He's honestly.
He's a Neymar player.
Yeah, he is. He thinks he's Neymar. He's just
I don't have it yet. I thought I had a Jesus one. My bad.
But no, Jesus, I think's nailed on, and we'll all wish him luck, won't we? But
I think he knows now. I think it's come to when Alvarez was done and then Haaland was finally over the line. In a sense, it's not fair. It's not fair to keep him because
I get Zeko vibes.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just not. It's not doubting his talent, because he's unbelievable. He's done great stuff for us, but I just think what's the point? Because unless you're gonna, like you said, push him out to the wing where we've occasionally put him and he's played well, is he gonna want to do that every single game and then he's gonna have to fight against all the other sort of wingers? I think if it is, we can get a bit of decent sum for him. When I'm seeing 30 odd million, that can float as well.
This is the thing I keep saying on streams about that people need to realise, right? And I call it the boring talk when I turn into business mode. And in my line of work, right, we buy IT, and IT has a 4-year life cycle on your asset register, and then you write it off. So it drops in percentage of value every year, and after 4 years you write it off, right? And the bank know that after 4 years it's worth nothing. And I feel like City, when we buy players, predominantly we don't buy players for 3 years. We buy players because we're buying a high quality of player that we think you're going to like the club, you're going to win stuff. We're buying you because we think you're good enough. And therefore, we're going to sweat the hell out of this asset, right? We're going to get 8 years out of this asset. And after 8 years, that asset can go for free because it's value to us. It's earned its value. Now, with Jesus, I feel like maybe not quite so. But here's the thing. 150 million was in our bank last year for Kane, right? Torres got sold, another 50 million. We just sold a keeper to Southampton, another 12 million. You guys can probably tell me a few other little slide deals we've done for younger players. So when people say, someone said to me yesterday, but City need to meet financial. No, we don't. We also I forgot, we've just won the league and had a run in the Champions League. We do not need to do anything. We don't need to sell no one, right? We could go up, we could pay over the odds for Cucurella and Phillips and still probably have enough in our bank to go and buy another 2 very good players over the odds, right? We don't need to sell anyone. And that's a good thing with Jesus, where it's like, well, we actually next year are happy to let him go for free. But if you want him now, well, fuck it. We'll play hardball for once. Give us some fucking money, like actual money, so we can carry on to next season.
It's about time we got some transfer fees in. We got done with Torres. We got done with Garcia. We've been done with most of our people that we've sold. Sane, even Sane to an extent. We got.
What did he go for?
Like 40.
Yeah, because he didn't have too long left on his contract, did he? He's another one we'd let go a bit.
So,
I think I think that's the thing with Jesus as well, and the thing with Sterling. I do get it that with the wide plays we've got, if someone offers 50 million for Sterling with a year left on his contract, look, our board, Imran, how good's our board? And we don't even know about the financial side of our board, but our board's good. So they'll be balancing, looking at things and thinking, why not?
And those comments you made earlier about, balancing books and all that stuff. People seem to be still counting net spend from when our owners took over. It's like you can't look that far back. You're looking at current years. You're looking at season by season. You're looking at net spend now. We definitely.
But the other thing is, people never even speak on stuff like the concerts we have and all the other. Do you know? By the way, I saw on Steve's story the other day. He was walking, and I was like, "What are they building there? What's this nut?" They're building another. They're building a stadium for concerts now, like another one just there. They're just
it's an arena.
All these things that just go on at our club now. I'm trying to think of other ones. So Cucurella we spoke on.
I've got one.
Hold on.
I've got one big one.
You go. I'm gonna. Yeah, go on.
Kyle Walker.
What? Linked away?
No, he's not linked away, but he's getting older now, isn't he? He's clearly losing a yard of pace. I just want to know what's fitting around him.
Right,
he's not losing any speed.
Hold on.
He's getting injured a lot more.
Hold on. Let me speak on this because I've spoken on this a bit because in a group chat probably about a month and a half ago, I said Walker's playing a little bit less, and someone straight away was like, "Well, is he?" So I go, "Well, I have just made that off cuff. I haven't looked at it. Let me go and look at it." So I went and looked at it. And the last 3 or 4 seasons, every season, he's dropping 4 games, right? It's not a lot, but if you look at that over 3 seasons, that's 12 games, right? And I don't believe he's losing pace, but I would say that as you get older, I can speak on my behalf, your recovery speed is, I mean, we all know how quick Imran, remember in Madrid, that younger, what was his name? Bailey. Bailey, the younger that was drunk, and then next minute, like drunk, throwing up everywhere. Next minute, recovery speed.
Touch on announcements. 1, 2, 3.
What?
There's 80 people in the stream. Do you mind smashing a like? This is Imran's first stream with us. He's actually a top bloke, so make sure you're following him on Twitter.
By the way, a top bloke away from
extremely
football,
top bloke. He's they actually imagine this, right? But just a collective, people that have just joined, make sure you're actually liking this video. It takes 0.5 seconds of your time. It's a little click. If you've got an account and you want to comment, you have to be subscribed. Second of all, imagine all these 3 up here. I'm not a City fan, clear as day. I've got too much red going on. These 3 met in Madrid with Big Steve out of nowhere, and these lot talk like they've known each other. I've been going games for what, years?
That's what happens.
So a little bit of respect on that side. City. Obviously, thank you for tuning in. Jay Lings as well. Back in here, obviously. Actually, he's not actually onto you, Daps.
Well, it's because I haven't got a McDonald's cap on today. So
yeah, so all I'm going to say is just smash a like for them and make sure you get following their socials. And I will be tuning in doing more graphics off the bat of my head.
Yeah, right. So
can I have Walker, my on Walker?
Yeah, so just quickly, his game time is dropping. I do feel his recovery time is maybe taking that little bit longer, which is natural. However, I don't believe he's losing pace. I'm not going to say too much because I think Imran might. So Imran, over to you.
Yeah. So if you look at the games that he has missed last season, they weren't due to recovery times or anything like that. It was more to do with that twist. He twisted his ankle, didn't he? Or was it his knee? It was his ankle. I think.
He got a series. It was Atletico, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then the other games he missed were because of that stupid red card that he got in the Champions League. In the
very true. That's
a
fair point. Yeah, that's a fair point.
So you know what? Other than that, he's been there. And if you're talking about losing pace, I mean, if you saw him,
he's still rapid, bro. He's still absolutely rapid.
His pace is on. His pace is on. Yeah,
he's come back from injury. He's still not 100% in the second leg of his semi-finals, and he's keeping up with Vinicius.
And the celebration on the last day.
Would you say then it's like for next season? Then potentially it's all about time and game management for Kyle Walker going forward to keep him at that level, that top level, because he's an athlete.
Right. I think we got Cancelo in because that season before we got Cancelo, Walker didn't have a good season that season.
No,
and he was poor.
Giving away penalties and stuff, wasn't he?
Yeah. Do you know what? As soon as Cancelo arrived, he upped his game. And suddenly Cancelo's playing on the left now because Walker was just putting in like 7s, 8s nearly every game. Right? He's so comfortable on the ball. Defensively, he had us covered, especially at a time where we had a lot of defensive frailties. We had lots of defensive frailties. And this guy was covering ground and, he was the extra man in defense.
That's a good comment.
Kyle Walker.
Go on, Mason.
Kyle Walker, I'm gonna throw out that this is where the hate might start. I generally still to this day think he's the best right back in the world. And
most disrespected right back in the Premier League.
Everyone's gonna.
You know what it is? It's because he come from Tottenham. That's why. It's because he came from Tottenham.
I get I get the whole Trent thing. I get because that's what people throw. People do throw straight out with Trent because of what he does in a game.
Yeah, but
when you're looking for
when
when you're looking for a defender, when you're looking for an out and out defender, the guy's what 30, 33, 34 now. Is it
31? No, 32.
Oh, is it 32?
Still parties like a 21-year-old. To be fair,
I'll get it up. To be fair,
he runs like I've never seen anyone run in my life.
Yep, he's just turned 32.
I've never seen anyone like Imran said. The game when we first played Madrid, and I know it didn't go to plan, whatever, but the first game when Fernandinho has to play right back, they run rings round our defence, and that was why they scored so many goals. As soon as he come in again, Vinicius Junior didn't know what to do. Mbappe didn't know what to do. These are supposed to be the best two up-and-coming players in the world. And they're getting burnt out by a 32-year-old.
It's not possible.
And we go back last season, Neymar and Mbappe. But let's be 100 and go to the second leg. Yeah. Whatever people want to say in that second leg, the game changed when Walker eventually came off, right? And actually, let's remember, Walker tried to play on, right? The game changed when Walker came off in the second leg, and I don't care. Anyone that want to go back and watch it, go back and watch it. The game changed when Walker came off in the second leg, right? Strangely, most of their goals came down the other side in that game, but I don't care. It's the balance, right? Yeah. Him on corners, the way he saves us with the pace getting back, and it's light. The funniest thing is the amount of times I see him look at younger players, like 21-year-olds, look at them, give them a head start, and still laugh and just fly past them. Yeah,
he waits.
Oh, he takes the piss.
Yeah,
takes the piss.
He waits.
The thing that lets him down. The thing that lets him down in a lot of people's eyes, and this ain't myself, but it's the offensive numbers. Because this is what everyone seems to judge a fullback on, is what's the assists and what's the goals, and those numbers are very low for Walker. Right?
Go.
As I mentioned,
hold on, finish him, man, because I hope you say what about you.
But one thing I have to say, his game is completely different to a lot of these players that he's been matched up against. This is not what Pep requires from him, and his game is completely different.
This is because of Trent and Cancelo.
Sorry?
This is because of Trent
and to be fair, and Cucurella.
Yeah, but this is what it's because of, and this is you bang on with it, Imran. This is why all this comes with these offensive stats for ring backs. Don't get me wrong, we play that way. We play very high up. We play attacking. We want ring backs to run. That's why we got Cancelo in the first place. But the thing
you can't have two like it, though. You can't have two like it.
That's what I mean. He has that mentality of where we can let him run back. Whereas if we had two wing backs that don't run back and we had two Cancelos, for example, this is where my worry comes from with Cucurella Daps. This is where the worry comes from, is if we don't have a defender that can run back like Walker, what's going to happen when we play these teams in Champions League, like with someone with Vinicius Junior or Mbappe? Because then look what happens to us when he's not 100%. There.
But do you know another thing that he does, right, is... Right, so David Silva, for me, if David Silva got all the assists that I feel he deserved, he'd be up there with De Bruyne. De Bruyne this season's going to move up to probably about third or fourth ever in the Premier League. Based on an average season, he'll move up there, David Silva was often the pass before the pass, and the pass before the pass never really gets rated. It's the pass that puts it on the plate. The other thing is that if you watch the way Kyle Walker... Right, so maybe Kyle Walker's delivery, isn't that great. So he doesn't get the assists but his bursts of pace when we're pressing, or even let's not talk counter. When we're sat there and we've got a team pinned back and we're probing, we're trying to find a way to break a team down. Do you know what all of a sudden happens? Walker out of nowhere makes a run into the box, and all of a sudden you see their defense like, oh, what the fuck's going on, and start going with him. And then the ball will get put out to someone like Mahrez, who will then get the assist, right? But it's Walker's run into the box that creates absolute mayhem, because it's runners have to go with him, and it leaves space for other people to move into. And that is why Pep loves it, because when it gets to and how many times does City have to break a team down and keep working? So they've got 10 men behind the ball. If no one's making runs, we see this with England all the time, because no one is making runs, no extra space is created. The minute someone makes a run forward, a pocket of space appears. And that's what City do, pockets of space, because then you've got Foden that will find that pocket of space and manipulate it. Bernardo Silva, find that pocket of space. So Walker's massively. I feel like, I hope when he retires, he gets respected. Also, the other thing I will say is he's a leader, right? Very key leader of our English players. Look at City's squad. A lot of Brazilian and a lot of Portuguese-speaking players. They have Fernandinho. English players. They have Walker. He's a senior member. He's one of our five kind of deputies. Stones, Yorkshire. Walker, Yorkshire. If Phil Phillips comes in, I think there's a reason with that as well. That Yorkshire thing seems quite interesting. And also the other thing is, yeah, and he goes away with the younger lot. He still thinks he's 21. He's like me. He still thinks he can party. The other thing is, if next season we bring Cucurella in, put Cucurella on the left, and think, do you know what? Now is the time that we start putting. Yeah, Reece James is actually a great example of Walker. I think to be fair,
he's my top.
He's more balanced.
Target, Reece James.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it. He wants to be Chelsea captain, but if everything goes wrong at Chelsea, we have to grab him. He's Reece James. I'd love it. I think.
Oh my God, I can't have another 10 years of.
But just lastly on Walker, if Cucurella comes in and he becomes our number one left back, right, and then they say, right, Cancelo, you're going to switch to the right and become our number one right back. The great thing with Walker is at his age is he's a leader. He's happy. He's winning trophies. Yeah. And we've seen it. Walker can be on the bench. Walker's not a player that's going to come on and strop because he hasn't started the last 4 games. He'll be fine with that. Absolutely fine with that, because we've just spoken it. If Walker leaves in, I don't know how long he's got left on his contract, but if he leaves in a year or 2, he's again going to go down as a very pivotal member of Pep Guardiola's era at Manchester City. Again, like Ederson, we didn't win anything until Walker and Ederson arrived.
His contract expires in 2 years.
So there we go. I think he'll go on a free in 2 years' time.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say it's probably best to do that, and he'll probably go somewhere like Sheffield or just a lower team that's back near home. That might be near in the Prem, maybe. You know,
Gundogan next season. Gundogan next season. Walker the season after. De Bruyne the season after that. There we go.
Yeah, Dortmund. Gundo back to Germany. That's my.
Go on, Imran. You want to say something? I can see.
Yeah, I think they'll give him one more contract. To be honest,
you think
he's got the legs to go on a bit longer? Yeah, I think he'll get another couple.
Yeah, if he ain't lost no pace at 32, I can't imagine losing too much pace at the age of 34.
The other thing is with him and I remember a couple of, we've gone through a few summers recently where the recovery, the summers have been small because of COVID, because of us having a good run in the Champions League, and him and Sterling, I think this was about 3 years ago. Him and Sterling had really short summers. Might have been even when the Euros, to be fair. And they didn't return to training until, I think, like a day before the Community Shield. And Pep said there's certain players in our squad that's like their physical, what's the word? They're not metabolism, but ultimately their physique and whatever else, they don't need as long as others. It's like, I can look at De Bruyne and think, you know what, De Bruyne probably needs to get his fitness up, have a couple of weeks on that. Aguero is definitely one of them. Walker and Sterling, they just constantly look fit, generally. Apart from injuries, they're not guys that need... Yeah. So he will play for longer. 100%. And he is disrespected. Guys, just a quick question before... Is there anyone else? Zinchenko I want to speak on quickly. Zabaleta or Walker?
Walker.
Walker. No. I have to disagree now.
Hold on, Imran.
I think I say Walker.
Right. Sorry, Cass, it's irrelevant because if two City fans pick Walker over Zabaleta, Zabaleta is an absolute legend. Then it's no debate.
Can I give a reason, please? Yeah, like
we rate Zabaleta is up there, but we like Vinny in that.
I think as the overall
over him.
No. What I was gonna say, Kyle Walker, he's the definite better choice. But I think, to be fair to Zabaleta, he's the better footballer overall as a football player. He had everything. Other than a bit of pace,
we love Zabaleta.
Until we lost that yard of pace and got older, and he was already old when he came to City,
didn't he?
He lost it so quickly. But when he had the overall football, he was technical. He could his defending was was
Defender was very good.
sublime, and he could also attack. He had everything as a football player, as a amazing player. I can't remember who he reminds me of. There was someone back at Inter Milan also that had a bit like Zanetti, if you're getting in a sense.
The thing
Just a bit more
He came
evolved.
from Italy, to be fair. Didn't Pablo come from Italy? He didn't he?
Yeah, I think he come from Inter Milan himself, didn't he? As well. I'm pretty sure.
Anyway, go on.
But
What it is
Go on,
with
Mason,
Zabbo,
Mason.
I understand what you mean, and to City fans, it's hero.
I'm gonna put a poll in. Keep talking. I'm gonna put a poll in. Zabala or Walker.
Cool. Yeah.
Take away the legend status, and I'm saying that to a United fan, you know what I mean. But take away the legend status of the club, it'd be the exact same with Kolarov. City fans love Kolarov because he was an all-round player. He could run at someone, he could put a challenge in, he had a bit of pace for a few years, and he could strike a ball.
Oh, could he? He knocked a cameraman out, I think, once.
That's what I mean. The thing with Zabaleta, I take away, you know, the love what City fans have for him. He wouldn't stand a chance in not just today's game in a team like Pep's, and that's not taking away his ability because he was class. Don't get me wrong, City fans loved him. It was the same with Vincent Kompany, but when he went, we knew as City fans it was the same thing with Joe Hart. He wouldn't get into a team what we have now because he just wouldn't work. Kyle Walker now, that's where the argument comes from when I said before to back myself up of, I honestly personally think he is the best right back in the world because of what he gives us. He's rapid. He can occasionally shoot. We've seen him before do it when he's
he can shoot. Ball. He scored a banger before. I swear he scored an absolute weldy, like almost curving one, like a beautiful goal before. Kind of
the big thing with Walker, what is like sort of shadowed out a bit, he can be a leader as well. He can organise people. You see him do it with John Stones every single time they play together. Every single time they play together, he's shouting at him, he's screaming him to move, he's controlling the box with even with Ederson. Whereas Zabaleta had that, but then the other elements of the game with his pace and his attacking, that's why I think. To be honest, I think many City fans would probably pick Kyle Walker, taking away the legend status.
We're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it to about 70 people in the chat, which keep growing to 80 and so forth. So keep getting the likes and nearly at 100 people.
I think this is the thing with Walker. I feel like with Walker it's interesting when I see like my mate Mario, hold tight Mario. He's an Arsenal fan, and sometimes he's very biased to Arsenal, but sometimes he comes out with takes that actually shows me he does watch a bit more football than I thought. And he, every now and again, will pop up and be like, guys, when people are having the Trent Reece James conversation, he's like, guys, let's be fucking real for a minute, yeah. Walker's the best right back in the league. It's just because of Chelsea's fan base and Liverpool's fan base, you don't hear it, yeah. Because City fans are too busy talking about league trophies and other players they've got, yeah. But
that's a perfect comment.
You know what? There's something that I witness on a regular basis. I sit in line with the 18-yard box and sit in that corner on the east stand. And one thing that you probably don't see on the TV that you see right there is how comfortable he's on the ball.
Yep.
He picks that ball and his ability is something else. You know what? I know he makes mistakes from time to time, and those mistakes I think are consequences of how confident he's with the ball. And sometimes he's a bit too confident and a bit too comfortable with the ball, and that comfort sometimes leads to some of those mistakes that he makes. But seriously, ball can ping up from the air and he can control that easily. Yeah. Knock it through his legs and he can knock it through another player's legs and carry on running. He's got the ability, and that ability I don't think that gets talked about.
Scares players.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? It's another one. It's like De Bruyne. People will, when De Bruyne retires, I hope to God people don't just focus on his passing and also talk about how much he gets back, gets stuck in, presses, everything about De Bruyne. Same with Fernandinho. And it was brilliant when I saw Fernandinho's goodbye video and Soups was with me. I said, I bet you'll wait and see loads of crunching tackles. Watch how many welders he scores. Watch his passing range, yeah? That is what makes him so elite in that role, right? For Brazil, he'll often come on and play a slightly more advanced role because he can. Same with Walker. Because of his pace, people will focus on that and not the other things. Look, let's remember, England choose to play him as a right centre-back for a reason, right? That defensively, yes, I get it. He does sometimes give away penalties with stupid, rash challenges. But So does everyone, man. That is what it is. It's risk versus reward. He should go down as one of the, in my opinion, he could be top 5 right backs in the Premier League history. Like, we go look, he's won 4 Premier Leagues already, and it's going to be 5 or 6 by the time. In fact, no, yeah, he's won 4. He's going to win 5 or 6 by the time he retires. So, right. Last one I want to talk on is Zinchenko. So, Mace, me and you did a show, and we spoke on Zinchenko for ages, right? He turned down pretty much whether he turned them down or just they pulled out, whatever. The Arsenal rumours have gone. I've heard little rumours of Everton, right? And for me, it's a bit like Sterling, to be frank with you. I'm looking at it thinking, why?
No, there's been
previous summers where he's been linked elsewhere. He hasn't gone there. He's ended the career he's ended the season with good performances in key games. Yeah. And then he's ended the season coming on, changing the game, last game of the season. Wolves, key game was sensational. Real Madrid, when he came on with Gundogan, changed the game. Again, last game of the season, the celebrations, he was pivotal to the celebrations. The club has supported other Ukrainian players, getting them over to help train. And with what's going on in his life, do you know the one thing that this guy probably wants is just normality, security, normality. And I think Everton, I'm baffled at Everton. What do you see him going?
Do you know what? First. Me personally, I think it's the Cucurella thing that sort of maybe has unsettled him a little bit. Previous seasons, other teams have come in for him, and he's basically said that he's going to fight for his position. Being third in line, possibly behind Cancelo, Cucurella, I don't think he'd be happy with that position. So I think, do
you think though, with everything going on, or do you think normality? He would just think, do you know what? The only thing is Everton. He could stay living where he's living, I guess, couldn't he?
Look, there's normality, and then there's getting regular football time as well. And I think he probably was happy with the amount of minutes he played over the last few seasons. He did play quite a bit of a role, not the season gone, but the season before. Yeah. But I just think the numbers dropped last season, and now with that new potential signing, the numbers are going to be even less. And I think he started to believe in himself. He's started to
rightly so.
Yeah, I mean, look, his performances this season have been magnificent, and he's been quite important in our back room. He's been quite important in our starting 11 or as a backup player when he came on as a sub. And I think that definitely has elevated his own belief in himself. And why not? Why not then think, right, okay, yeah, I could potentially play for Arsenal or even Everton as a first team player. So
I don't want him to. I don't want to go Arsenal. I get the Arsenal one because Arteta said apparently. And I get it because if Tierney's not there, he could do the central midfield role for Arsenal better than a lot of their central midfielders. Right? Yeah. So I get why he would take that one. The Everton one, if I'm a footballer right now, I'm just dodging Everton with everything. I'm sorry. Yeah. There's nothing attractive about Everton. The fact they have to share a city with the other team alone is enough to not want to go there. But the fact that they literally, if people ever say, like City, if you spend money, you win stuff. Everton is the example of if you spend money, you don't always win stuff because they've had good managers and money, and they're just stinky. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and something else I wanted to probably mention was something that Patrick on the comments has also mentioned, which is he'd be linking up with another Ukrainian in Mikalenko, and possibly that could sway him there as well.
That's fair. To be fair, didn't think of that.
Yeah, I think with Zinchenko, my thoughts on him already. I just think to let someone like him go. My thoughts was I don't know why we need Cucurella. That's me being honest. I'm being generally serious. I don't see why we'd need to bring someone in like that who potentially could come in and play well, but then could potentially come in, not do what we need him to do, and then Cancelo ends up playing 38 games a season, 40 plus, in cup games. And then where's that leave Cucurella not wanting to play? That's my only worry. And then we go and spend 60 million in when we can have Zinchenko, we can come on, change a game as we've seen countless times over the past couple of years. Yeah, he might not be a perfect defender. I do think he's better coming on than starting, but I just don't see spending 60 million on a player when we've got someone like Zinchenko who can come on, pour his heart out for a team, and has the ability to change a game.
I agree with you. I do agree with you. I don't know, Mace. We spoke. I'm trying to not speak on it yet, right? Because I know my issues with Cucurella. I've pleaded with people to break it down to me, to tell me what's going on and if there's any truth on it. And no one's coming to my plead. So for the good of my club, I'm just not going to speak on it. I do get it. I've seen his big chances created, and they're up there with, I think, Robertson and Cancelo and Cucurella are the three. His age as well. Other fan bases have helped to convince me by the fact that whenever we've been doing teams of the season, they're putting him. But
is he 60 million? That's the thing. Is he a 60 million pound player?
This summer more than ever, it's got to a point now where I'm struggling to understand. I'm struggling to understand the rules around transfers. Right? It's just, and all I can say is it's what clubs want to pay. Right? Because English tax is apparently one, but then Zinchenko's won 4 Premier Leagues. Right? He's what used to be called a utility player, but under this era of Pep and Klopp, it's a player that can move with the transition of the game, right? We've seen it for his country. In central midfield, this guy is very, very capable of controlling a whole damn game, right? He doesn't lose the ball. Pep Guardiola trusts him, right? That's all I have to say. The other day I was on an Arsenal show and they started trying to say they waited till I'd left, then started saying Nketiah, why would they want Gabriel Jesus Nketiah when they've got Nketiah? Put him at City, he scores more goals than Jesus. I'd actually said, I hope Jesus goes to Arsenal and I wish him the best of luck. When I saw that, I commented in saying, I take back everything. Your club does not fucking deserve Gabriel Jesus if you're trying to put Nketiah. And someone's like, oh, but what about goals? I said, fuck goals, right? You're buying a player that has won 4 Premier Leagues and knows how to play Pep Guardiola football, something your manager is trying everything to do, yeah? And as City fans, we appreciate him. If you man are not going to appreciate him, you man who haven't won a trophy since when, right? I don't want him near your stinky club, right? Go abroad or something. I do not want that type of disrespect in Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus. Come on.
He's an upgrade in any of their front players. Lacazette, is he an upgrade on Lacazette? Yes, he is.
Yeah. The other thing is, a Liverpool fan today as well, I saw talking on him and saying, is he really that good? I said, listen, you lot rate fucking Bobby Firmino. Therefore, I will give Bobby Firmino enough respect to say, if you lot rate Bobby Firmino, you get why we rate Gabriel Jesus, because you understand it's not always about GA, right? It's about other things they bring to the team. But you know what? It's one of those things. Maybe a fan and this is why I actually love the whole thing with Jesus of this season. That I feel maybe it is a good season to leave because he ended the season actually winning over some City fans that maybe doubted him a little bit. He ended the season on a high, and maybe now is the time for him to go on. So, that was it. The only other thing I wanted to speak on is our assistant manager, I believe, our head coach or something, I believe, is gone as well, right?
Yeah. It's Juan Manuel Lilo.
Lino,
I'll try to get up.
He came in.
He? A head coach.
He's the guy Pep played under in his last role when he was a football player. So it was the last team Pep went to as a player, and it was particularly the reason why he chose to play under this Juan Manuel Lilo was because of his tactical play, and you want to learn from him a lot about tactical play and about going on to management. And when Arteta left, he identified Lilo as someone he can bring in. I don't think he bought him in immediately. I think it was
You've got after. Mail,
but man, he was he's the guy. I mean, he's tactically the guy that Pep identified would fill in that gap since Arteta left.
He's the guy whose ears get burnt whenever something happens. When Pep has a sip of the water, then turns to him and just starts talking his ear, and you just see him sat there nodding.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, he's not the guy that he shouts at though. It's Borrell who he shouts at.
Oh, right,
And
okay.
takes out all his anger on.
he's the one that
But there's
says,
respect. There's respect with Lilo, and Lilo's the guy who sits there with his legs crossed. He's the
Right.
old guy, old chap, and yeah, I mean,
This
look, he'll go, and we've got this new guy. Well, we've got
Was
the
it-
guy from the manager from the under-18s, isn't it?
Yeah, I saw that
Torres.
Pep had called him back up a few weeks ago, hadn't he? Said he wants him back there. Look, this is the thing as well. We saw it a couple of years ago. I think it was maybe the first season when we started just dominating, where every time Pep got manager of the month, he'd call in his whole backroom staff for the pictures, because that's the key of Manchester City. It's not even just our starting 11. It's not just Pep. It's not just it's everyone. We even see it with Haaland meeting the chefs, right? That it is everything at the club is run correctly. Listen, really good show, really good audience participation. One last thing I just wanted to show on Cucurella. I think
3 more likes.
Right, 3 more likes to 100. Right, so before we leave, let's get it to 100 so we can all go to bed, please. So I'll do the right one this time. This tweet. Firstly, Imran and Mason, you're invited as well. Cass, you're invited. My birthday weekend in Manchester. I need to find this Dior outfit. I'm going to wear that. That's a bit of me.
When is your birthday? What, in a couple of weeks?
July, yeah, end of July. But that is a bit of me in it. Barcelona, don't be surprised. Sorry, Barcelona, don't be surprised if I rock up in this.
And do you know what else it reminds me of?
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'll tell you what else it reminds me of.
Steve would disagree.
Haaland. You're going to say Haaland, aren't you? Everyone's going to say Haaland.
The season before, Haaland wore that pajama
with Mahrez, when he was with Mahrez.
With Mahrez, and he's done the same thing.
If you find a red version of that and you get a blue, I'll wear a red version. If you got a blue version, I'll do it.
Well, I'm not buying you, bro. That's going to probably cost you about £1,000, to be fair. But the thing is with this, the funny things with this picture is, firstly, the smile. Now, you take the hair off of Cucurella. Zabaleta, right?
Zabaleta, yeah.
But also, I've got another one. You take the hair off him and the glasses off him. Sacha Baron Cohen, Ali G.
Oh my lord! Santa Rosa session now. I can get both finally.
No, he does, man. Every picture of Cucurella I see, I laugh. He's got the funniest. Like, he just looks funny. But
hair's amazing though, man. It's healthy as fuck.
So that tweet, that tweet. Brighton retweeted it saying, look really good in blue and white. Let's be clear, that blue, is a very Manchester City blue in the heart. And also reset. Am I reading too much into that? Or is that
way too much?
Really?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, he's got
okay.
You could always say Brighton. You could always say Brighton's got the blue because they're seaside blue as well, isn't it?
Is that I guess it is holiday and
I think everyone was going to jump on it because, like Imran said, with the Haaland thing. But I think it is just a case of he can get away with it because he plays for Brighton. If he played for United and wore that, it'd be a very different story. But
so he means it about City, but he can get away with it.
The thing is, though, Daps, so you know why you're not reading into it too much. Everything with what you post is always going to be a PR thing, right? Always a PR, and there's always a reason behind some sort of picture, right?
New wage or move.
Yeah, and you think 105,000 or 106,000 Brighton fans like that?
Very
no
true.
chance.
Very true.
No
very
chance.
True.
Knows exactly what he's doing.
Haaland in the blue backpack.
Yeah.
Basically.
Anyway, sorry, let me just remove that. So
Can I just say my bit on Kalvin Phillips a little bit as well?
Yeah.
We
didn't really speak on. No, we didn't really speak. I'm intrigued to see if you are similar to my.
You know what? I'm not feeling it.
Thank you, brother.
I'm not feeling it, and I'll tell you why I'm not feeling it. Right? Yeah, I get the whole. He's a squad player, and he'll fill in. But I'm gonna ask this question right now. Comes to the business end of the season, right? We've got 10 Premier League games. We're still in the FA Cup. We're still in the Champions League, right? Rodri gets injured. How confident are you with Kalvin Phillips playing the rest of these Premier League games, the FA Cup, and possibly Champions League, leading us to the Champions League final? Is he going to get us over the line? I don't think he would.
See, my reasoning behind why I am confident, and this is a very scoped reason why I'm confident in it. One, the first one off the bat is who else could we get? That's just the first one, just off the out there. Who could we go and get? Second one is Premier League proven. I know he's had injuries and he's not played as many games. The third one, which Daps mentioned before, he knows a lot of our English lads very well. So there's definitely loyalties, there's definitely groups of where they speak. And the last one is something I mentioned. You just mentioned if Rodri gets injured, what happens then if Gundogan gets injured? What happens then if Bernardo Silva leaves? We have no midfield. So I feel like bringing a Premier League proven player in for if we do get in for that value, yeah. Don't get me wrong. If you're talking, because I'll be contradicting myself if I said it. If we're going to spend 60 million on him, if we're going to spend 60 million on him, then it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. But if we go and spend 38, I'd be happy. I won't lie. I'd be happy.
I think possibly right. We wouldn't struggle in the Premier League, and Premier League proven, yeah, he might do his job there. But Champions League, quarterfinals, semi-finals, is he going to be?
Yeah, I get that.
Giving us that experience that we really need.
So I'm going to take
that next notch.
I'm going to take what both of you have said, right?
I hate this.
And I'm the same as you, both of you, right? So, no, I'm the same as Inran, sorry, but I'm going to take what Mason said about how confident are we, right? And I'm going to switch it. My confidence is based on his confidence, and he could come and prove me wrong. But here's my issue. When we won our first 2 Premier Leagues, we went and bought players that were squad players, right? That if someone gets, example, Scott Sinclair, example, Rodwell, example, Fernando, example, I don't want to say this, but Jovetic was maybe not. And there's a few players that... Now, this is where it's very difficult, and this isn't Kalvin Phillips' fault, right? And I could be totally wrong, but I look at Rodri and I look at Pep's style of football, and I think, does Kalvin Phillips believe that he can come in and make Pep have a headache about who to select, right? I don't think he's got that. I don't believe, and I could be wrong. Listen, I don't know Kalvin Phillips, never spoke to him, right? Don't even watch him that much, plays for Leeds, not City. But I question if he believes that he can honestly come in Pep's system and push Kalvin Phillips out. Now, if he's questioning himself and doesn't believe he is, he becomes a squad player that's happy to sit on the bench. Manchester City have become so successful under Pep because we don't sign those players. We sign players that come in and push. Even players like John Stones and players like Zinchenko, who maybe haven't had great seasons, say, no, I want to stay and fight for my place and fight for their place and actually end up winning their place back, right? I don't want a player that is happy sitting on the bench and is going to come on every now and again, because if we go back and look at my examples, when they came on, did they ever impact much? No, they did not, right? They didn't. And then I start thinking, would we be better having a younger that Pep is saying, I want you around the first team because I see you've got a future. You're not going to be a starter, but the day that I actually look at you and go, I want you to play today, when the press has been telling me to play you for 3 months and I've been ignoring them, but me off my own back, I want you to play. Example, Cole Palmer, they step up because they're like, fuck me, Pep's just picked me. Confident, go on the pitch and play their game. Would I rather that? And then the other example is, and this is just an example, Cass, don't get upset. Someone said to me on the stream, what if Barcelona turned around and said, look, we want Bernardo Silva this much that we'll throw someone in. I'm just going to use De Jong as an example. It's not a perfect example, but he's a midfielder, right? And they throw him
It is the perfect example, if I'm being honest. Okay. It's actually a dream scenario, in my opinion.
So then I look at the exact same question that I asked Kalvin Phillips. Do you believe in yourself that you could come in and, under a Pep style of football, give Rodri competition? And my answer would be, I honestly think, not Nigel De Jong. God, to be fair, we should sign him just because of the fact that it'll remind me of Nigel De Jong. But I think De Jong would turn around and say, yeah, I do believe I can give Rodri a run for the money. And that's the type of player we need to sign. Or we go with a younger that Pep can build some confidence in. These players that come in to sit on the bench, we're not that team anymore. And I don't want us to be that team anymore.
The thing that my thought process with Phillips is, we've seen him play well for England. We've seen him graft very well for England. He's had, the injuries, take that away just for a minute. He's had standout performances for Leeds as a DM, because that's predominantly what he is. I think it's like, we mentioned the De Jong situation. the same thing could happen with De Jong. We could get De Jong in for 60 million, 70 million, or whatever it is, if there is some sort of deal with Bernardo Silva.
It probably won't. It was just an example that he would come in and believe in himself.
But then, do you not think a young lad being told for that to come from somewhere, Guardiola must want him. So a young lad coming into City's team thinking, well, Guardiola wants me here. Do I push Rodri's position, my time to shine?
Rawness around the squad wouldn't go back.
It's valid. And like I said, he could come in. It's just, and sometimes my gut feelings are very wrong.
Who's that young boy that you mentioned?
Latvia. Is it Latvia?
And there's another one that gives with M.
McAtee, but he's further forward. He's a
bit further forward. So what's Lavia?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Lavia's a DM. Lavia's a DM. But
would you not a little bit of rawness around the squad, like you said, like a Cole Palmer, sorry, and Latvia, or whatever, however you say his name. That probably does good for a squad that's just won the title because they're hungry.
I said on the stream yesterday, I don't watch enough. Imran, do you watch much of the?
Lavia's not at that level. Lavia's definitely not at that level.
No, he's not.
To challenge him.
Not.
Do you know what?
I see his Twitter talk on him. So, but like I said, I don't watch him. So,
and I think what's concerning is everyone mentions Phillips as a squad player. We don't see that with any of our other midfielders. That's the concern. A squad player. No one's saying this guy's going to be, challenging Rodri for that spot. They're saying he's a squad player. It's when Rodri isn't fit. That's just not good enough, to be honest. And people ask the question: if not Phillips, then who is it? You know what? You can go to. I say we move out of the Premier League and look at someone abroad and someone the likes of Atletico Madrid or Porto.
This is what we need. This is what our scouting. To be fair, I don't want to call out our scouting or anything. This is where our scouts actually need to go and earn their money. And let's not call out an obvious one, right? Then that is someone that should be coming expecting to push Rodri, right? Mm-hmm. If you can go and let's look at Fernandinho as a prime example, right? Fernandinho is coming from a league where he was coming to City, and to be fair, he did come in and pretty much hit the ground running, but he would have been fine to be Rodri's second. And that's what we need to find, a younger gem somewhere that can come in.
You can find that. Just basically, all you got to do is go to Liverpool Football Club and go get your files back, because I'm sure.
Yeah, go and get our USB drive back, and we've probably got a few on there, haven't we? Very good, very good. I don't know. It's just the Kalvin Phillips one. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to be throwing my toys out the pram when we sign him. I'll be honest. When we signed Grealish, I was like, I'm not over. I love it. I love the shithousery. But when we signed him, I was like, it is what it is. I don't feel he's bringing that much to our team. It's a great. But I did think he would always be a player that will push the other players. And now actually we've got him, and I see his style of football and everything. I think him in a couple of years is going to cook, but that's a different show. But with Kalvin Phillips, I don't know, man. I'm getting Rodwell vibes. I'm being honest with you. I'm getting Rodwell vibes.
Well, because he's mixed race.
Well, don't do that. It was Rodwell, mixed race. Well, there's a new one to me. Yeah. Rodwell was whiter than me, I thought. But
we all do it, though. We all do it.
No, it's just this thing that no one doubted Rodri was going to be a starter for us. You want players that are going to come in. And I've said it on Liverpool. The reason why Liverpool did not retain is because their summer after they won the league, they didn't go, and you don't like Khaldoon said it. I think it was either last year or the year before. He said, we learned from our first 2 seasons winning the league. We no longer are going out and buying 4 or 5 squad players. We'll buy 1 or 2 players that will improve the team, will push for places. And that's what I want to see. It's great that we're going to buy a few players this season. And we do need to. But it's very hard when you've got Rodri in a Pep style of football, because he's perfect, literally.
But we need do you not think we need a backup for that, though?
We do, and that's what I'm saying. It's not Kalvin Phillips' fault. How do you find, it's almost like, again, it's like with the keeper thing. It's very difficult to find a world-class backup to Ederson, right? Because Ederson is so perfect for Manchester City that who's going to come in and basically, maybe in a few years, when we've won a Champions League, do you know what? I think we might be able to, right? But right now, it's still very difficult to get a goalkeeper, that basically you're saying, yeah, you're amazing, you're world class, that's why we've signed you. However, you're not going to play one league game, right? And then be cool, no problem. I'm world class. You just told me, but I'm going to sit on the bench for 38 games. Same with and even if we get to the semi-final of any competition, you're going to question if you might want to put Edison in over me as well. And the same with Rodri. It's when you get these people that are so perfect for Pep's style of football, you're going to question anyone that comes in on their belief to actually push them out. And it's a great place to be in. But
I just think, my only sort of pro to it is that I just feel like getting someone in that's in the Premier League might do us a bit of a better favour than going out to Europe and getting this young lad who's, because what young up and coming talent's going to want to go and sit there and sit on the bench, because he could
in
go
that
to
role as well. To be fair,
he could go to United, he could go to Chelsea. Yeah,
Fernandinho was 28 when we bought him, right? 28, I think, when we got Fernandinho.
Yeah, he weren't ridiculously young, but
it's a role. That's why Declan Rice is being spoke about so much. To find someone young that can actually do that role at a high level is pretty unique, because it takes experience. So it's an interesting one. I think the Phillips one will probably, I think it will happen, to be honest, because they've it looks like with Phillips, just to wrap up, with Phillips and Cucurella, it looks like both clubs in Leeds and Brighton have gone and got replacements or are in the process of getting replacements. So I think they're going to happen, but it's just that one for me. Imran, you're spot on. We're the same. We're not sold on it at all.
I'm praying Rodri doesn't get injured next season, man.
Yeah, but in a bad way.
Never say never.
Probably say he's done 3 seasons, and I think he's close to 200 games in 3 seasons, which is pretty mental, to be fair. So, but anyway, listen. Thank you, both of you, for joining me. I know it's gone on for a while, but that's what happens when we talk about Manchester City. When everything's so and when people ask us, when your club is so perfect, what do you actually talk about? If you support a club, you'll always find little things, little changes. And you tell us we need a Champions League, so that's what we're trying to do right now, and get that Netspend FC trophy that's pivotal to our lives. Imran, if people do want to find you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter. I am Sneaker Freak. You can see it there, and same on Instagram as well.
Lovely. Oh. Sorry, 1 second. My headphones are falling out, so I'm going to freestyle while I can't hear myself. So thanks for coming on, Imran. First show, obviously, when we spoke, I said I want you to get on more often. Great fella.
I piss off.
And Mason, I've noticed in your background is slowly building up as well.
Slowly but surely. It's getting there. There's a couple things on order.
And Mason's becoming pretty much, whenever I do these weekly shows, Mason's going to be on. Where can they find you? Speaking facts. You know what? The first time I met Mason, right, was the night before the Atletico game. So it was the night when we had the madness with the Chelsea lot. Yeah. And then me and Mason basically started debating football outside the toilets in a bar. And any City fan that came out of the toilets was basically being grabbed and pulled into a debate.
Grabbed. It was like a real life poll.
It was, and you did something earlier that you kept doing. No. But listen. You kept doing no. Anything anyone said, you go no. But listen. But yeah. But where can everyone find
people
you?
Talking, man. Just sort of Mason A. Cook, just typical socials, just chatting shit on there as per usual. But
and hold tight your elder little brother. I'll love that one.
He's somewhere.
Finally,
he's lingering.
He's lingering. I can tell he's a lingerer by when I met him, to be fair. Just floating about. Right. Cass, where can everyone find you?
Find me here tomorrow, or the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. So I'm not too sure.
And also mufc.cass.
And never
follow him on Instagram, media. Bug him, get in his DMs.
Everything's down below. Everything's in the description. Just click that little button that says more, and then you'll see everything. If anyone just wants a general conversation as well,
loves a DM. You don't have to be any time in the night. DM him. He has to respond. So DM him. We've agreed. We respond to every DM. So DM.
Yeah, you know what? We actually did it. I actually do respond to every single DM, and I'm not joking. For you guys yesterday, I'm not joking. There was about 75 DMs, and you made me go to bed late.
Someone actually jumped in earlier to me and was like, "Hi, I'm a City fan from so and so." I'm like, "Hi, what's he saying? You good?" He goes, can we chat on WhatsApp? And I had to go, whoa. Now,
Yeah,
he's fine,
that's,
mate. I'm
that's,
like,
that's fair.
whoa.
Where
I
we
don't
draw
know
the
you,
line.
bro. But yeah, and tomorrow night is Tuesday night, which means it is
City United, isn't it?
City United, myself and Double A at 10 o'clock. I don't know what we're
10:15,
talking on yet.
say.
He's 10:15, me and Double A. If you're a City fan, join us. United fan, join us. It's pretty hard for United fans because we do history. And tomorrow night, actually, I've just remembered. So last week, I spoke on the FA Cup semi-final of 2011, which means tomorrow, following on, I speak about a certain game at Old Trafford the following season. It should have been 10.
Imran, someone
a
quickly
great-
before we go as well. He just asked, is your handle correct? Is that your Twitter? That's the correct one.
Yeah, that's correct one. Now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I am Sneaker Freak. There
Like
you go.
trainers.
Clearly likes trainers. Who would have
He
guessed?
does like trainers.
Yeah.
Confirmed. Anyway, thank you for staying locked in. Thank you for the likes. We did get over 100, which thank you very much because it's taken us to more than we were yesterday.
108.
108, brilliant. Channel's growing day by day by day. So thank you very
Nearly on
much.
3,000.
Road to 3,000. Everyone have a good night and let's pray that Bernardo goes nowhere, please, because that is the one we need to hold on to. And see you tomorrow night, people.